Today's workout and worship devotion is beauty and brokenness. The two don't seem to really go together, I know. So we don't often look at brokenness as a beautiful thing. The weeping, the questions, the doubts, the forlorn faces, the crying out, it's anything but beautiful, right? I know because I've been there too. And the brokenness is hard and it feels so ugly and so helpless when we're in it. We often wonder if the brokenness can be patched, if we will ever find healing, and if life will ever look beautiful again. We can find encouragement in a verse from 1 Peter. It's 1 Peter 5:10. It says, "After you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you." What a promise. The beauty is we don't have to live in our broken state alone, and it won't last forever. We are promised restoration, and God can even use us in our brokenness. There's a quote from Kelly Mentor, and it states, "We all have something to give, even if we're broke or broken." God can and does use our brokenness, and he brings us through. God restores because he is merciful and gracious. He knows far more than we do. And when we don't always understand what the brokenness means or why we're going through it, we can trust his promises and his faithfulness. A prayer that we can pray today is, "Thank you, Lord, that you can fill us and use us even when we are broken. Thank you for your promise of restoration." I hope that this devotion encourages you today, wherever you are. If you're in a place of brokenness, I have been there too. I know that it is hard. I know that a lot of times you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you can get through it, and you don't have to do it alone. So I hope that you find encouragement today. The workout that we're going to do today with this is going to be more of a restorative stretching. There will be some exercises in it, but this session is going to be focused more on restoring. With our exercises and stretches, we're going to begin today with our legs outstretched in front of us. We're going to lie down on our back. We're going to bring our arms by our side. We're just going to take a few minutes to breathe. We're going to focus on how our body feels on the mat with our focus on restoration. We are going to just be in tune if we're carrying any tension, how we're feeling, and we're going to bring attention to our breath, breathing in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 4. So we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Go at your own pace for a few moments of just paying attention to your breath and how your body is feeling. Take one more breath. And as you breathe in deeply, and then exhale it all. And we're going to go into a different move. So now we're just going to add in a little bit of movement. Remember, we're still focusing on restoration. So all of these moves are going to be gentle. So we're going to slowly bring one knee up to our chest and then plant it back down. And then alternate legs. So bring the other knee up and plant it. We're going to do this about 8 times on each side. So go at your own pace. Making sure that you're breathing while you're doing these movements. Breathe in as you bring your knee up and exhale as you bring your leg down. And we're going to go one more time with each leg. Now we are going to bring both knees to our chest. Just wrap your arms around your knees. And we're going to stay here for a moment. If you would like to rock side to side, it's a good way to massage your lower back. You can go in small circles as you have your knees to your chest. So whatever movement feels good as you have your knees to your chest, just focusing on breathing and how your body feels. We're going to take about 2 more breaths. And then we're going to extend our legs out. And we are going to go into a hamstring stretch. And since our bodies are not completely warmed up right now, we are just going to be kind to ourselves. So with this stretch, we're only going to go to where we feel tension, but we are not going to go to discomfort or pain. So you may not get a whole lot of range of motion, and if you have to bend your knee with this stretch, that's perfectly fine. So we're going to bring one leg up straight. Like I said, you may not be able to pull it at a 90-degree angle. That's perfectly fine. If your knee is bent, that is fine. We're just going to work on stretching it a little bit. We're going to cradle our thigh with our hands, and we're going to have that leg up. We're going to point our toes to the sky and then our heel to the sky. So we're going to move back and forth with this motion a few times. And then we're going to make circles with our ankle. So we're going to go one direction, and then we're going to switch and go the opposite direction. Then we're going to bring our knee down to our chest and extend our foot out and switch to the other leg. So we're bringing that leg up. We're cradling our upper leg with our hands. We're going to point our toes to the sky and then flatten our foot and our heel to the sky. Go back and forth with that motion a few times. And then we're going to make those circles with our foot. We're going to go in one direction. Then we're going to switch and go the opposite direction. Bring that knee down to our chest and extend it out. Now we're going to go into a slightly different stretch. So we're going to stay on our backs. We are going to bring our knee in, bring it over our body just a little bit until we feel a stretch in our little bit in our glutes and maybe where our glutes meet our upper back. We can put a little bit of tension on there if it feels good, but again, we're only going to tension. We don't want to feel any discomfort or pain. And we're going to hold this for a few seconds. Now we're going to release that side and we are going to go to the other leg. So we're going to bring our knee up towards our chest. We're going to pull that knee a little bit across our body, put a little bit of tension there, and we're going to hold. Remembering to breathe as you hold this stretch. Still paying attention to your body and how you're feeling. Now we're going to release that. We are going to bring both feet up. So we're going to plant them on our mat and our knees are going to be bent. And we are going to do a core exercise. So we are going to bring one leg up, like our knee is coming toward our chest, and then plant that and do the opposite leg. So this is called floor marching. It's a good core exercise. So as we're doing this, we are imagining bringing, like we're pulling our belly button to our spine. And that helps us engage those core muscles. And engaging those core muscles is how we get the most out of this exercise. So we're going to do this about 4 more times on each side. And then we're going to plant our feet. We're going to keep our knees bent. We're going to bring our hands palms down on the mat. And then we are just going to go from side to side like we're sliding our hands to touch our heels. So this is working our transverse abs and our obliques. So we're just, again, sliding side to side like we're touching our heel with our fingertips. We're going to do this about 4 more times on each side. Then we're going to come back to center. We're going to keep our legs and our feet the way that they are. And we're just going to drop from side to side like we're a windshield wiper. So we just come back to center and then our knees drop from side to side. We're going to do this a few more times. Then we're going to come back to center. We're going to go into our bridges. So our feet are still planted, our knees are still bent. We're going to squeeze our glutes and bring our hips up off the mat. Being careful not to overextend or underextend. So we want to try to keep our back straight. We want to have like a straight slant. And then we're going to come down. So we squeeze and come up and then go back down. Breathing in as we come up and squeezing those glutes. And then exhaling as we come back down. Let's do this 2 more times. And then we are going to transition to a tabletop pose. So we're going to come up and we are going to have our hips over our knees, our shoulders over our wrists, and we're just going to rock back and forth. So we're bending in our knees a little bit. We're going to keep that back straight. This is warming up our wrists and our shoulders. Our hips are still getting some movement here. And then we're going to go into some cat and cow poses. So we're going to drop our back and look up to the sky. Then we're going to round our back and bring our chin to our chest. Breathing in as you look up and out as you bring your chin to your chest. You can also add in some circles here if that feels good to you. Just rolling your body in a circle. And if you are doing a circle, then make sure you switch and do the opposite way also. Then coming back to stillness, we're going to do another really great core exercise. It's called bird dogs. So with this one, we're going to be back in that tabletop position with our back straight. We're going to pull our belly button to our spine as we extend one hand and the opposite leg. Then we plant and go to the other side. If you would like to add a little intensity to this move, you can add in a crunch. So as you bring your arms back, you do a crunch and then you can plant. Let's do about 4 more times on each side. One more time. Now we're going to go into a full arm plank. So we're going to keep our arms straight. We're going to plant our toes and bring ourselves up. And we're going to hold this position. Breathe as you hold. If you need to take a break, you can come down onto your knees and then come back up into the plank. We're going to try for 10 more seconds. Then you can plant your legs. Now we're going to go into another restorative move that I like. We're going to come down onto our bellies. Our legs are going to be extended behind us. Our arms are bent at the elbow and our hands are planted. And we're going to lift up, being careful of any pressure that you feel in your lower spine. So based on how you feel, you can go low or you can come up high, whatever is comfortable for you. And we're going to hold this and breathe. And we're going to finish off in one of my favorite restorative moves. It's child's pose. So we're going to come up onto our knees, put our big toes together. Our knees can either be wide on the mat or closer together, whichever is the most comfortable for you. And then we are going to extend our arms out in front, our chest, and place our forehead on our mat. And we can stay here and breathe. And this is where we'll finish up today.